Zidoo has like some new products that are like 8K. I don't know what the prices are.
Oh yeah, like the what do you call it? The Revolution.
That's not it. Yeah,
The
I saw this one.
Probably that one. UHD 8000.
Yeah, so they're gonna send me one, and
that's the newest
I
one?
said, yeah, they're gonna send me one.
Okay, cool.
I don't have anything 8K, so hopefully the upscaling is good. I don't know.
That's really like the thing. It's not like what do you call it? Sorry, I just lost my train of thought here. What are we talking about? Oh, 8K.
Yeah.
The 8K, it's not about 8K content, Joe. It's about like how badass the upscaler is. So
is it gonna be good though?
I don't know, man. Like there's no way to rip something in 8K as far as I know. And I used to rip. I was about to say I used to rip shit all the time, but that sounds weird. I used to rip movies, 4K HDR movies all the time. So, how are we getting the 8K movie on a disc to rip? Let's start off with there. How do we do that? You know, and then once that part is figured out, okay, we can successfully rip 8K movies. How much? What do you think the file size is going to be if a 4K movie is 90 gigabytes? What is an 8K going to be? 180 gigabytes? Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
So, I think even with the Revolution player, like Revolution asked me, I'm looking at the Revolution Player One 4K. They asked me if I wanted to review the 8K, and I said, "Well, what's the difference?" He's like, "Well, it's 8K." I was like, "No, I don't want to review it because it's 8K. I don't have an 8K TV. I don't have any 8K source material. It's upscaling to 8K."
All right, so
does that even make it worse? Does that even make it worse or what? You know what? I was fooled. Back in the day, 2005-ish. Mitsubishi DLP TV. The shit said 1080p on it. 1080p, Joe.
Okay.
That was hot. That was the hot shit at the time.
All right.
And guess what? I put in the Xbox and the PlayStation. I set it to 1080p. What happened, Joe?
What happened?
It wasn't 1080p.
What was it?
It's 1080i and it upscales to 1080p. Like, I wasted a few $1,000s on that TV and I can't even get 1080p from the damn gaming console. How lame was that shit? I was pissed.
Can I, about this 8K upscaling stuff, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, all right? Because I've been doing video editing type of stuff and we can upscale in Final Cut, right? We can just put it into a different timeline with higher resolution. But even before that, you can upscale individual photos. And what are videos other than a bunch of photos, right?
Pictures, yeah, moving pictures, right?
Pictures. Okay. So think about this. Can you upscale a single photo right now with the current technology, with AI and all that? Can you upscale a single image so that it looks as good, as one that was taken at higher resolution? You can make it a little bit better, right? Sometimes you can make it better, especially if it's using AI and there are a lot of higher resolution images for that AI to take from. So if you take, I have a Google Pixel, they have an example where they upscaled a picture of the Golden Gate Bridge. Well, there are tons of photos of the Golden Gate Bridge, and the Golden Gate Bridge kind of like stays the same, right? So they could use all that information and recreate a higher resolution from pictures that were taken at higher resolution. Okay, that's easy. But it's more difficult when we talk about.
This guy's saying the new Kaleidoscape holds 10 movies.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, no, it's like it's 980 gigabytes. So if each movie is 90 gigabytes, it'll hold 10 movies.
I don't know. Well, so real quick about this upscaling, right? So think about this. When they remaster stuff like Terminator 2, right?
Yeah.
They upscale it. They have all the time in the world. It doesn't have to be done in real time. Is it always is that the best? Is that the best you've ever seen? Or does it still look like it's still not as good? And they have all the time in the world. They have all the processing power to throw at this. So all I'm saying is I'm not a huge believer that something can be upscaled in such a way that it looks awesome on everything. So
Yeah.
I have the NVIDIA Shield. It has AI upscaling, right? It does a pretty decent job, right? It looks okay, right? It's not horrible. But I don't know what's the benefit to going and upscaling to 8K. I guess my whole point is people keep trying to make it seem as if you can recreate something that wasn't there to begin with, right? And if the source doesn't have that information, then what are you recreating it from? You know,
From like, you're making the artifacts look prettier.
I don't understand
video artifacts.
What don't people understand about that concept? That it's what can you recreate from pixels that aren't there? You can estimate, right? Like what magic are people talking about here?
Magic beans.
Magic beans. To me, the most magical thing that has happened in recent times is when they do these upscale. When they do upscaling, they'll use parts of a different image that are higher resolution. Have you ever tried to do the ones where they upscale like images of faces? Like I've tried it on group photos, like old photos that were taken like 80s, 90s, right? Low resolution scans, and it tries to upscale it and uses AI, and it kind of starts replacing people's eyes with other people's eyes. You seen that?
No.
Right. And it looks good when you're zoomed out. You're like, dang, it just made everything clear. But if you zoom in, it's hilarious. You will laugh at like these people's eyes, like it's a totally different person, different teeth. It's ridiculous. It's hilarious. So anyway, I'm not for this all stuff.
Don's saying 8K is useful in larger screens, 150 inches or higher.
Yeah, but from what content? Well, somebody else that does 8K. What content?
Can you see a difference between 4K versus 8K? And the answer to that, 100%, Tony, is yes. I've been there at CES looking at these 8K OLEDs running 8K content. Some of them are running 10K content or 16K content, and this shit is awesome, right? They're doing an aerial at night in what is it? New York City. And you're like, you can see the buildings, you can see the ants, you can see the people, clear as day, down there walking. It is amazing, but that's only with true 8K content or higher. Last time at the 4K TV shootout, one of the guys, he makes 16K content, which is 4K cameras, and they stitch the image together to get 16K, and then they downres it to 8K. And that's how we were watching like some of this demo footage. And like, dude, that's a lot of work, bro. Just to get, what was it? Essentially a drone flying through New York. But it looks cool. Way too much for right now. Jamie W has a great point here. I'm waiting for the day when we stop talking about resolution, screens getting larger, LED walls moving into mainstream. We need to start talking about pixel density, like with phones. So depending on expected distance from the screen, you need a certain density. I'll take that a step further, Jamie, because what I've been waiting for with TVs and displays and stuff is a 12-bit panel. When I started my channel, I was like, oh my God, we're going to get into 12-bit panels? We're going to have 12-bit color? Holy shit, that's amazing. I started my channel in 2016. It's 2024. We still don't have that shit. Right? Because it is easier for them to just go up in resolution. And these companies don't give a shit about what we want. You've heard me say it plenty of times before. Having a 12-bit panel would be a huge jump, but they're not ready to give us that yet because they have a path, a product outline for the next like 4 or 5 years, and it doesn't include the shit that we want. It includes whatever they think we want. Whether they are right or wrong about it, So yeah, 8K.
Well, why are we pretending like as if we don't know what 8K, what the difference is? Because you can just look at a photo that's taken on a higher resolution camera.
Yeah,
that's more than 8K, right? If I
Well-
open up a photo that's on a, what is it? Well, how many megapixels is 8K technically?
Let's see. How many megapixels is 8K? 33.2.
33.2. Okay, so my Sony, what is it?
A7.
A7 A7 IV. I think that does 32 megapixels, so that's pretty close. If I zoom in, like, if I look at that picture full screen, is there a huge difference between that and if I downscale that to 4K? Definitely not on my monitor here because it doesn't support it. Right? So at some point there's just, it's not useful is all I'm saying. Right? More pixels is not the fight that you want to go for, because what's going to happen is it's going to require much more bandwidth in order to process all that and to be able to stream something like that.
Yeah.
And what you'll end up getting is higher compression or a certain type of compression, which makes the interframe stuff look worse. So from one image to the next, right? Normally, if you have no compression at all, it's just showing you the next image, right?
Yeah.
But what the compression schemes do is, instead of, it looks at this image and this image and this image and this image and says, you know what? There's not very much change between these. Let's not show every single one and just kind of show the different, kind of in a different way, show the difference, right? In a way that you're not supposed to be able to visually see the difference. But with high enough compression, you will see the difference, right? With enough compression, you'll see that something is just smoother, or it doesn't look as detailed. You'll start feeling a difference between the video, and I think it's just that what happens in between the frames, right? You ever notice on a video, if you stay still, right, it doesn't require much compression because there's no change between the frames.
Right.
The moment you start doing this, you start moving, then you start seeing all these like pixels, and then it starts looking. Yeah. Anyway, that's how you can tell the difference, and I think 8K just makes that worse. So I could be totally wrong on that.
Now, if you can't catch the show, we do have an audio version at anchor.fm/daily HiFi. So make sure to go on over there if you like to listen to the show.